Yeah, we're going to start first with some news just coming out of Japan. In fact, the Dow Jones news agency saying that Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is going to give a press conference in about 2 hours' time. Now, that's expected to be an announcement that he's going to delay an increase in sales tax slated for next year. This after the country learned that it had gone back into recession in the third quarter of this year. An expectation that sales tax rise would be delayed is what gave the Nikkei such cheer in trading today. It closed up over 2%. On that news, a quick look at the Chinese markets as well. Yesterday we've been talking a lot about this new link between the Hong Kong and Shanghai exchanges. It had impressed on the first day. Disappointing figures using it today, though. At the midday break in the Hong Kong trading, only less than a third of the daily limit had been reached, so perhaps less interest on the second day of that today. A pretty flat picture at the open here in Europe, as you can see. The French telecoms firm Altus seeing their shares opening down 5% in Paris after news that the private equity firms CARROLL and Cinven are going to sell 5.5 million shares in the company. The CAC Carrant just down slightly at the open.
Indonesia now, the government, they're introducing a massive hike in fuel prices.
This as it cuts costly subsidies to fuel. Prices are going to rise by around 30% after the new president said the money would be better spent on infrastructure and development. The move is expected to lead to protests, and police have been deployed to guard some petrol stations in the capital, Jakarta.
Moving slickly on to another story in the oil industry. The corruption scandal, this one is, though, affecting the Brazilian company Petrobras.
The company's had to promise to do a better job of policing itself after it emerged that the firm paid millions of dollars to politicians over a period of 8 years. Petrobras has been forced to delay an earnings announcement that was due last week because of the ongoing investigation. Its profits are expected to be hit by the outcome of that probe. Here's Luke Schrager with more.
Damage control for Petrobras as the Brazilian state oil giant finds itself mired in a corruption scandal.
We have internal commissions which will take a lot of time and in which all executives are participating. It's very important because it will allow us to govern better.
A pledge that didn't go far enough for markets on Monday. The firm closed 5% down and has already lost a fifth of its value this year. Federal police interviewed nearly 24 people over the weekend, arrested on suspicion of fraud and corruption. They're accused of skimming billions from contracts and pumping the funds into political party coffers, including those of the ruling Workers' Party. The matter could well have far-reaching consequences for the nation, according to Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff.
I think that could change the country forever because it means an end to impunity.
The Petrobras scandals only increased pressure on the recently re-elected president. Beyond battling weak domestic growth and high inflation, Rousseff now needs to distance herself from events at the company. She chaired its board for 7 years between 2003 and 2010.
Quick look now at some of the day's companies' news. EasyJet has seen its profits jump by more than 20% in the last year. The figure was helped by the success of its business class service. The low-cost airline earned pre-tax profits of more than $900 million for the year to the end of September. EasyJet also says that winter bookings are up slightly on last year and that it expects earnings to grow even further. Sony's planning to boost earnings from its TV and film division by more than a third over the next 3 years. It's banking on revenues from releases including the next Spider-Man movie. The news comes as the Sony Group undergoes massive restructuring to stem recent losses. And Snapchat users in the United States will now be able to send each other cash. The messaging app has launched a new service called SnapCash in partnership with the payment processing firm Square. For now, though, it's only open to registered users over the age of 18 in the US.
Now, finally, we are in desperate need of something to cheer us up today. Stephen's found it for us. Toyota unveiling a new car that is totally emissions-free.
Yeah, it's a small step the company's making into what is so far an untested market. But Toyota's unveiled its new Mirai model, which is going to be powered by hydrogen gas fuel cells, which means no exhaust fumes whatsoever to come from it. It is going to be very expensive, though. It's going to start at almost $58,000 before tax. So will come in as a pretty hefty price for a new car. Toyota's starting this. It's the first mass market production of this sort of car, but it's starting very gently, saying it's just going to sell some 700, it's hoping, of these cars over the next year. But it could be a really big change in how all of our cars work.
We can but hope. Yeah, good sign for the future. Thank you very much, Stephen. Stephen with business. Papers now with Flow. International ones, of course, in this hour. We're focusing on the latest Islamic State group video, of course.